Black and Lauren Darnbrow. Slaughter now in her 5th season as a keeper, or as a Husky. There's a set piece for the Huskies at midfield. A chance and a shot on goal for the Huskies. No problem for Tessa Ritchie. Far side on the chase here is Cavadini, and she'll kick it out, so a throw in for the Mounties on the near side. Volko, nice return pass. Looking for Entwistle. Couple of players on this Mounties team that also play hockey. Of course, Megan Entwistle and Emily Van Diepen as well. Entwistle from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Hello to you guys. If I recall, the Mounties hockey team lost to PEI 7-2 yesterday. What a great time we had last year in Sackville for the AUS Women's Hockey Championships with Megan and Emily and the Mounties. So good afternoon to you friends in Sackville watching on the weekend that the Mount Allison Mounties football team came in here and beat the Huskies for the first time since 1997. A 27-24 victory for Kelly Jeffrey and the Mounties. Far side, Entwistle, or check that, that's Amanda McDonald. There's Entwistle. And Charlotte Martin, the Calgary native, has her first touch. Mounties have been building, but no solid chances yet. There's Volko over there, the diminutive striker. Volko. Tight pass on the far side for Entwistle, and no luck hooking up. Actually, check that on the far side over there. Claire Newfield. Eight minutes in to our opening half. Henry Whitfield coming up. I can see Henry entering the building with that signature walking style. Henry, of course, will be the voice of the AUS Championships for women's soccer at Rocky Stone 2 weeks from now on AUS TV. Sophie Langell, a fourth-year senior, her first touch, and Cavadini can't hook up there with Ventum. Ventum put into striker duty today with the loss of Slaughter. Tibbetts to the far side, and on the chase over there is Lindsay Millett. And kicked out of bounds by the Mounties. Nine minutes in and all the way through to Bessemer. Kevin Johnson, as mentioned in his first year, he's a come from away from Kitchener, Ontario. Mounties were here bright and early today. Made the trip from Sackville. They were ready to go. booted down into the Husky zone. Kara Slaughter picks it up on the roll. Slaughter, there's that big boot that the Huskies have been missing this year with the loss of Samantha Bell. So make sure you reach out, HuskiesTV@gmail.com and Henry Whitfield on Twitter. All that information right on your screen. Henry will talk to you throughout the game, live and interactive. On AUS TV, the voice of the AUS Championships in Sackville. Actually in Rocky Stone Park now, in Moncton. Here's a chance, Volko, and a goal! Volko, the Haligonian, comes home. So, a great time to leave you and bring in Henry Whitfield, who'll take you home, and we'll be back with the men's game. But a goal by Amanda Volko, the Halifax native. Bill McLean signing off. Here's Henry Whitfield to take you home.
Hey, friends, and welcome to this game. After an opening goal there by the visitors, the Mounties getting on the scoreboard, which has been tough for these two teams this season. Just no goals going in at all. They've got a combined 8 goals so far this season in 21 games between the two. So it's nice to see an early goal in this one because I think fans and neutrals alike were wondering where the goals would come from. And that is Volko's 3rd of the season. She's actually got a team-leading 32 shots, so opening this game nicely. And we'll get settled in here. Bill McLean back for the men's action later on. I'll be taking you through the action here in this women's game. Drew, our ever-present cameraman with a nifty new haircut, he'll be getting you the view. And remember, you can reach out to me on Twitter. Join us on the webcast, so we'd love to hear from you. As the crazy traffic had me late for this one, but I got to catch an opening goal. So that's a nice start. And to recap how these seasons are going, St. Mary's comes into this game. They're 0-10. A tough season under Fernando Lucas, who's a longtime assistant coach of the men. And there's a header and another goal. And it is raining goals right now for Mount Allison. We'll get confirmation on that. It looked like it might have been the head of Megan Entwistle there. Number 10, and I think it was just here on that near side. That cross came in nice and low, and Entwistle picking up the goal and making it 2-0 for the visitors. So a mountain to climb for the Huskies, especially if you think about the fact they've only scored 3 goals in total this season. So a big hill to climb. And the Mounties pick up where they left off, but that one is picked off by Madison Turple for St. Mary's. Some back and forth action. And a big save there. The Huskies keeper coming up with a nice save and keeping this scoreline at 2-0. Folks, if you're just joining us, Volko opened the scoring for Mount Allison a few moments ago, scoring her 3rd of the season. And then Megan Entwistle there makes it 2-0. So we were wondering where the goals would come from between these two teams, and we've seen 2 goals in the first 15 minutes. So game plan gets thrown out the window at this point, and you got to start thinking, if I'm Fernando Lucas, what am I going to do to get my team scoring? Just a throw in on this near side. That'll be number 10, Amanda McDonald. 4th-year player from Kelly Cross PEI with the throw in, and that'll be kicked right out quickly by the Mounties. The Mounties playing with all sorts of swagger. They're up 2-0. They do have the one win for their name. So as before that goal, as I was saying, St. Mary's comes into this game. They're 10th in the league, 3 goals for, 35 against. They've got no wins on the season. But Mount Allison comes in 9th with a 1 goal or 1 win, 9 losses, and a tie. And they come in with 5 goals and 22 goals against. So the Mounties, although they've shipped a few goals past themselves, still a little bit less than St. Mary's. And the Mounties now turning on the pressure. That's a throw in there from Jillian Tetlow and right back out by the Huskies. So Huskies trying to tighten things up after they let those 2 early goals in. And St. Mary's just clears that only to half, and that'll be picked up by Claire Neufeld. Neufeld keeps that in and passes that down the wing. And then on that far side, picking that up was Cassie Succi. And more pressure here from the Mounties all the way over. And that's going to end up going out harmlessly. Laura Darnborough, the Dartmouth, Nova Scotia native in net, takes over for Jessica Flack here today. Darnborough, who started just a couple games this season, and relentless pressure here from the Mounties. Kept in once again and controlled. Down this near side, a pass goes just out for Megan Entwistle, and the Huskies will throw in. So despite getting the early 2-0 lead, the Mounties are not sitting back at all. They're pushing, and here you go. Now it's the Huskies' time to attack, and they will in the form of Madison Turple. Turple, her pass goes errant, and Neufeld picks it up, but her pass also goes out. So about 27 minutes to go in this second half. 20 minutes passed already, and the Mounties with a 2-0 lead. So remember, you can send your emails into huskiestv@gmail.com or jump on Twitter at Henry Whitfield. Join on in. We're still getting settled in here. We're only 15 minutes into this half. Fans still coming in. It was a little bit of rain earlier, so the field is a little bit slick for these girls right now, but it seems like the game is flowing nicely now, and we'll get a foul here against Huskies in a dangerous position. A couple of Mounties standing over the ball. Looking to attack in the box. Got Jane Rouse on the far side for the Mounties. Megan Entwistle looking to come in on the far post. Neufeld's up there as well as number 16, Hannah Breeson. So some of the D coming up for this one. And it looks like this ball is going to go short. A little bit of trickery, and the Mounties just unable to pull it off. That was Amanda Volko, the scorer who opened the scoring here, and she just can't get a toe around that and goes harmlessly over the net of Darnborough. So a corner here for the Mounties from that far side. Once again, Mounties have 7 players attacking the ball here. They want more goals. Mountie falls in the box, and St. Mary is able to clear it only as far as Jillian Tetlow. Tetlow puts that back out wide to Neufeld. Neufeld beats her defender, puts in a low ball, but cleared out well by Sophie Langiel. So Mounties continue their attack and their pressure, but St. Mary's not breaking as they did on those previous 2 goals. A nice header on that second goal, and Volko with the individual effort on the first goal. Once again, the Mounties able to force the Huskies off the ball, but they put it out for a throw-in. Huskies take that quickly. And they'll get another throw-in as well on that far side. Gray and miserable afternoon here in Halifax, as it often is this time in October as the weather changes, and it makes the soccer season that much harder here in Halifax as this ball goes all the way through past the pair of Huskies and past the Mountie, but getting right in there, that was number 10, Megan Entwistle, and she's just barged off the ball by Nicole Tibbett. So Entwistle came from across the field and just comes up short, and she went down hard. And that's Amanda Volko, who tried to dance away there from the defender, and she gets a throw-in. And back and forth in the midfield, and Huskies have been in their own end for about 10 minutes now, and the Mounties just throwing that pressure forward, controlling the ball nicely, and really sharing well. And the pressure from their forwards has just been immense the whole game, as Entwistle's going to pick up another throw-in. She thinks about taking it quickly and decides not to. As we're just getting into the email here, so HuskiesTV@gmail.com. Let us know where you're cheering from and who you're cheering for. And a couple emails already. Fred Neufeld and Janet, thanks for the email. That's our first email from the Mounties, and you guys are enjoying this. 2 goals early on, and as I said before the broadcast, these 2 teams combined just for 8 goals in the 21 matches they've played in this season. So to have 2 goals early is a real treat. Both teams young, and the Huskies definitely rebuilding under a new head coach this year, so looking for other positives. And it's been a tough season, but we're closing out just in the next couple of weeks before we head to Moncton for the AUS Women's Championships, and that being moved from Sackville. I think the Mounties football team might have had something to do with that field getting turned up, as if it played some pretty great football this season. But we will be taking the championship on the road to Moncton, and I'll be there bringing you all that action November 2nd and 3rd and 4th. These 2 teams, though, doesn't look like the Huskies will be there, but the Mounties as hosts, they will be there. So despite finishing 9th this season, they will end up at the AUS Championships, and right now they're looking in good form. They've really dominated this Huskies team, but right now we've got a break coming from the Huskies. That's Sophie Langiel pushing it forward. And that ball was for Jessica Ventham, the second-year forward from Halifax, and she was 2 or 3 yards offside, and that'll come back. But a nice attacking intent, but I think that was the first time the ball got over half for a while. And the Huskies with a substitution. Going off was Michelle Paul, and coming on to replace her is Alicia White, a second-year defender from East Hants. And Alicia right there in the action. She's wearing that number 3 jersey. And the Mountie just judged to play that with her arm there. She tried to chest that down. And so the Huskies with an opportunity to get some offensive pressure here. Without a shot in the last 15 minutes. Or really a look on goal. But that free kick is not going to do it. It does take a friendly bounce, but gets cleared out by Jillian Tetlow. And the Mounties look to work this one out. Controlled by the Huskies. And a long ball forward for Tibbetts. Tibbetts playing far up right now, and she'll cut inside her defender. That pass doesn't go to her intended target, but it does end up on the foot of Madison Turple, and she'll just take a whack. And really, the first look on goal in a while is the Huskies just haven't been able to get into this game, and Robin Bessemer are able just to watch that go over harmlessly. "25 minutes gone in this first half. About 20 to go with the Mounties up 2-0. They opened the scoring off of the foot of Amanda Vogel, who got her third of the season, and then they doubled their lead moments later when Megan Entwistle headed in a goal, and she was wide open in the box. And the Huskies have dug themselves an early hole here. And you've got to think, where are the goals going to come from today? Andrea Daly with a nice tackle there, and actually last time I was here at Husky Stadium, Andrea Daly scored a peach of a goal, a free kick against Memorial that was just absolutely wonderful. And so you know they do have some goal-scoring threat on this team. Oh, and that header actually causes some trouble and goes off a defender, and Darnborough unable to get to it. So Huskies concede a corner, and it'll be a corner for the Mounties. Over to take it is Amanda Volko. And it's high and deep into the box. It's headed away, but it only gets as far as Mountie, and then it's punched off the line. Darnborough getting a fist to it, and some scrappy play in the box. And here's Ventham. Ventham is going to take her on her defender, one-on-one. She puts it around the defender, but just not far enough. And now just short for Vesmer, but the Mounties goalie gets to it. Now back and forth. Ping-pong play out there. But Ventham tried to go around Claire Neufeld, but Neufeld, the first-year player from Newmarket, Ontario, able to fight off a player there and control that and get it back to her keeper. So a little bit of some cagey soccer going on right now for both teams, but the Huskies, despite going down 2-0, they've had a couple sparks here in the last few moments, and seeing that substitution, although it was a defensive substitution, Alicia White coming on, kind of shored up that far right side, and it's helped get some attacking presence for the Huskies. Oh, and a hefty collision there. That was Madison Turple, who just kind of came across the legs of the Mounties player there, and both seem to be all right, but we'll get a free kick for the Mounties. And some play down that far, and there's Neufeld. Neufeld's going to try and catch onto this, and she just misses it. So it's going to go out for a goal kick. It's going to be a long one, too, and out, but just goes to the Huskies bench, so a little bit wasteful there. So it'll be a Mounties throw-in, and the Huskies just struggling really to keep those passes going. The Mounties putting a lot of pressure on all game long, and it's going to tire them out eventually, but right now, game plan is working. Kevin Johnson will be happy with his team. And there's a pass right across. Oh, and a hefty collision there. It looked like Hannah Breeson there. She came in with a big, hefty tackle, and the referee just gives her a warning there. but she completely slid in and committed for that ball and takes out the defender. Lucky to get away there without a yellow. And the Huskies able to control that, and now they've got some numbers and trying to take on a player there was Kara Slaughter, a fifth-year player out of East Preston. Sorry, Lindsay Millett on that far side, the fourth-year player from Newmarket, Ontario. The ponytail game in the way of the numbers there. But Millett tried to take on the defender, unable to do it. And now the Mounties come back, and they've done such a great job in this game of getting forward, controlling the ball, putting that high ball over the defenders. And the Huskies that time deal with it and just clear it to safety. 15 minutes left in this in this first half. Mount Allison Mounties up 2-0 over the home Huskies. Long throw in here, and turning on it was Langill, but Langill loses the battle. Back to the Mounties. And controlled nicely in the midfield right there by Cassie Succi. And the back and forth battle continues in the midfield. And that's what really the Mounties have dominated. As this ball comes loose and the Mounties pick it back up. He gets poked just up front and a pass over to Entwistle. Entwistle tries to cut inside but loses control. And the Huskies just boot it out. We're going to get a substitution here for the Huskies. Going off is going to be number 2, Nicole Tibbetts. And coming on there, I believe Jolene McIntyre, number 6, Nova Scotia native. As the fog kind of rolls in now, a little bit of rain starting to come down, so some wet conditions now coming into play. So this ball skipping a little bit more. And that was a long ball up for Jesse McPherson here on this right side. And then another long ball back. So teams trading long balls right now. So as this rain comes down in waves, the Huskies trying to make something happen. Oh, and that ball almost over the top to Millett, but Millett tangles up with a defender. And now players falling left, right, and center. A collision in the midfield sees Charlotte Martin getting up briskly there. The Mountie went down in a tangle there. So players running into each other all over the field right now. As we have 10 minutes to go in this first half. This game moving along at a nice brisk pace, while the Mounties have built themselves a 2-0 lead. Henry Whitfield here bringing you the action from Husky Stadium. as a nice turn by Ventham, and Ventham's first touch there lets her down. She had Millet there on the left, but that goal kick, not good either. And now a battle on that far side as Ventham's going to control the ball. She can't get it in. The Mounties are just going to clear this, but Bessemer right there caught off a little bit, and she came out and miskicked that, and a chance for the Huskies and some opportunities. Millet kicks that blindly, and it's going to get all the way over to McPherson. McPherson, not the tallest player, but was able to get that down, and now the Mounties are going to counter. They're going to push this all the way out wide to Neufeld. Neufeld's pass in doesn't go right to a teammate, but kind of trickles through, and the Huskies, though, able to control. That was White passing that to a teammate, and now back into the mid, and the Huskies going to spread this down wide, but here comes Entwistle. Entwistle Entwistle there fighting down there with Amanda McDonald, so the two number 10s battling down there on the near side. Entwistle gets ahead, and she flicks it on. And Amanda Volko tries to flick that past a Husky, but it's going to go off the arm, so the Mounties are going to have a free kick here, and they're going to send players forward. Volko is going to go up. Suchi is going to go up, and a handful of other players, including Eleanor Henry, defender, is going to go up for this one. So taking it is number 7, Charlotte Martin. A little bit of an unorthodox kick there, but it's going to be stayed in and come right back to Martin. And she tries to lead in a player, but unable to, and she'll battle on this near side with McPherson. Entwistle tries to turn, but there's McDonald. McDonald coming down, safely playing it out off of a player and out. Huskies were in danger of going down without a fight after they went down 2-0, but a pair of really nice saves from Darnborough kept this game at 2-0, but they just haven't been able to get going offensively. Here's McPherson on the near side. Controlled by Jolene McIntyre. McIntyre with a great pass, but just unable to get through to Millet, but some great vision there from McIntyre to find a player open. And this is going to skip by McDonald, and there you got Entwistle McDonald again. Entwistle tries to chip it right past on the near side, but Huskies clear it all the way to center. There's Ventham again, and a hefty tackle there, but she does get the ball. A bit more of a physical game than I'm used to here in the AUS Women's Conference. Some crunching tackles in this game, and at that time Ventham came through on a player. And this is going to get all the way over to McPherson. McPherson with a long probing shot. Tried to get it to go through just in front. Ventham was there, and the pressure from Ventham forces Bessemer to just push that out. So a Huskies corner here. Huskies do have some tall players, and a couple players are going to go for it. And you've got 6 in the box, 7th arriving as we get a substitution, a double substitution for the Huskies. Sorry, for the Mounties. And going off is Entwistle. We'll get you those numbers of the players as they come on. Michelle Paul now in for the Huskies in defense. Nicole Jollymore, the player who came on for Entwistle. So Coach Johnson there giving his players a little bit of a break with 5 minutes to go in this first half. Entwistle and Co. have built a 2-0 lead and about 5.5 minutes to go. Substitution to keep players fresh as the rain is coming down in waves. Not a hard rain, but it is a chilly, chilly fall day here in Halifax. Hopefully Bill will come back with some coffees when he decides to come back for this men's game that we're going to get. And that is a nice matchup there between these two men's teams. looking forward to see what the Mounties and Huskies have to offer. Stuart Galloway, the head coach of the men's team, always puts on an interesting play, and Roy Chinna, the head coach of the Mounties, has some players there that can really make something happen. So an exciting men's matchup coming to you after this. Early starts here on the Sunday, so 1 o'clock and 3:15. As the seesaw battle continues in midfield. But the Mounties, as they have done for this entire first half, just smothering the Huskies as they try and bring it forward. Missed kick there, but Langell able to head it forward. And now the Mounties build again, and Langell's going to spread that wide. Ends up at the feet of Millett, and then pushed forward for Ventham, but just too far. And the Huskies really building. After those substitutions, they've really put on some pressure. The Mounties with that double substitution, and they're going to make another one here, seem to lose a little bit of the rhythm. So you don't want to concede just before half, especially when you've got the 2-goal lead. But going off for the Mounties is going to be Callie Hood, number 2. A bit of a battle here. And the player in for Hood is Francis McCurdy, as we have a battle down here on this far side. And Jolene McIntyre just does the smart thing and kicks it off of Jillian Tello to earn the corner. So Ventham's going to go there and take the corner for the Huskies. Coming forward is White. She'll be right there running in on that near side. And but 5 or 6 other Huskies crowding the far side of the box. So the Huskies, they like to go deep. You'll see them line up here and really attack the ball as Ventham takes this and gets in, and it goes off a foot of a Husky and almost tipped home there by Daly. And right back in. So the Huskies with some good pressure off that corner. Just a little bit of congestion, and then Daly there almost got a toe to it. But here come the Mounties. That's Volko. Volko dispatched easily by Selena Cavadini. And there's Ventham there. She's smothered off the ball, but Jessica Anderson picks up for the Huskies. And there's White. White with a long ball forward. She was looking for Ventham, but doesn't get through. Here's McIntyre with the ball. McIntyre over to Langell. Langell's going to have a pop here. And a long probing shot. And a save there by Bessemer. And that had top corner written all over it. Langell has popped a few of those in her day. And right there, she gets a sight of goal. And she does what any captain should in this case. Takes the shot. And a nice save there as Bessemer palms that away. Gets a crowd or a cheer from the Mountie faithful in attendance. A lot of Mounties fans here as Ventham puts us into the box. And that's going to get through and go all the way through. Millett falls in the box, and now there's a foot race as the Mounties look to counter. But coming way across the field, that was Selena Cavadini there, who puts that out to touch, and she makes sure that that's not staying in. But 2 corners and a lot of trouble for the Mounties, who just weren't able to clear their lines, and they get lucky as the Huskies aren't able to put it in the back of the net. Remember, friends, you can send us an email, huskiestv@gmail.com. The rain continues to come down here and getting a little bit more gray out there. the Huskies continue to push forward. Here's McPherson who pushes it over wide. That's Millett. And there's Venton with the shot, and a save by Bessemer. And that's going to be it. No extra time in this game. And at the end of the first half, it's the visiting Mounties 2, the Huskies nothing. The 2 goals coming early on in this half. First goal from Amanda Volko before Megan Entwistle with a header doubled the score, and it'll sit 2-0 at the half. And we'll be back with more AUS Women's Soccer action here on Huskies TV in the second half. Remember, you can join on Twitter. Send me a tweet at Henry Whitfield, or send us an email, huskiestv@gmail.com, and we'll see you in the second half. And we're back here for the second half of action in this AUS Women's Soccer game between the host St. Mary's Huskies and the visiting Mount Allison Mounties. And the Mounties are up 2-0. Some changes there at halftime, and we'll bring them as the players get into the action. But the Mounties with a pair of goals, one from Amanda Vogel, her third of the season, and Megan Entwistle doubled the score moments later. And the Huskies really didn't get into that second half until about the last 5 minutes, and then a couple of dangerous corners and a couple of opportunities. So the Huskies will look to build up the momentum, and on the other hand, the Mounties are going to try and get back the momentum they had for about 42 minutes of that first half, where they just dominated the play and controlled it in the Huskies' end. So right away, we have a long throw in here from Claire Neufeld, but it's going to be cleared out by McIntyre. And it is chilly here today at Halifax. Some rain coming down at the end of that first half, and not getting any warmer as these fall days continue. So as we talked about in the first half, friends, both these two teams struggled to score this season. Combined between the two of them, just 8 goals. So those early 2 goals were a nice surprise, and the Huskies will try and score here in the second half early as Millett there plays it back. And a long ball forward, easily handled by the Mounties defense. Awesome. Pete Miller, thanks for checking in. I appreciate the email there and glad you're able to find us. No, Bill was able to get back to you there, so thanks for joining the webcast, Pete. And remember, you can send us an email. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us who you're cheering for. HuskiesTV@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. There's a foul there against the Mounties. It's going to be a free kick taken by Turple. Turple takes it quickly, goes through and past the defender and past Millett. So Alicia White to throw this in. There's McIntyre. She turns and controls. And there's Langill, and it's going to go off a Mountie and out. So a Huskies corner, and a couple of dangerous corners there in that first half for the Huskies. They'll set up a little bit differently this time. Ventham to take. On that far side, 5 or 6 players, and the Huskies really looking to attack. Ventham takes this. Flicked on short, and then off the foot of White and out. Daly did a good job to flick it onto the near post, but no one there, and the Mounties will take this kick short. And now the Mounties just make it look so effortless to get the ball out of their own end. A couple of quick passes. That was Cavadini there for the Huskies, just letting that roll out. Millett flicks that on. And up at the foot of Captain Langill, up for Ventham. Ventham tries to turn up, but she's smothered. And now here come the Huskies. Daly's just going to put it all the way back to Darnbro. Darnbro, the keeper today for the Huskies, and she almost gets caught in possession there. Gets it off to White. White clears it just as far as center, and that's really the tale of this game. The Huskies just doing enough to clear it out of their lines, but not to get any pressure. So Huskies really need to work on their ball control in this second half, as that header on by Ventham doesn't go anywhere, and the Mounties will clean up the garbage. Cassie Suchi tries to put it up front. Jane Rouse was the one chasing that, and Huskies will clear that out. A quick first 5 minutes in the second half. As a long throw is going to go all the way up to Charlotte Martin. And almost gets it into the middle, but Huskies able to clear. Ventham comes back. And the Huskies really digging deep. That was Langill with a nice crunching tackle. And on that far side, you've got a bit of a foot race. Bessemer is going to come off her line. And that was McPherson on that far side. And then Michelle Paul comes over to clean up that ball and knocks over Megan Entwistle. Entwistle just really pushed off the ball there. And the rain coming back down again here at beautiful Husky Stadium. Darnbro keeps that short, but not controlled at all by the Huskies defender, and the Mounties with an opportunity here to put some pressure on. That gets flicked on. Heading it straight up was Sophie Langill. It's going to go out for a goal kick. Manager Kevin Johnson really hasn't had much to worry about here. He's looked pretty calm and collected on the far side, while first-year head coach Fernando Lucas for the Huskies really just wants to find some positives here. When you're 0-10 in a season, you're looking for the positives late, something to build on for next season. And right now, this team, they're trying to dig themselves out, but just unable to get a foothold in this game. And here's Darnbro. Darnbro's going to quickly take this goal kick. Going to get it all the way up to Millett. Millett's going to try and turn on this, and she does. She gets past one defender, but unable to control. And the Mounties get the ball back, and Daly comes in to clear that out. A long throw down the sidelines. It's going to go off Daly and then off of White. So another Mounties throw it. This throw a little bit shorter, controlled by the Mounties. Claire Neufeld spreads out wide. It's going to go all the way back to Bessemer. Bessemer going to control. And there's Ventham. Really quick off her line there to get off to Bessemer, but Bessemer gets a pass off. And now the Mounties look to attack down that far side, but an errant pass really kills the pressure there. And they had numbers going forward as the Huskies tried to commit and catch Bessemer in possession. Not a bad crowd here considering the weather, and a lot of Mounties fans below, and it looks like across the way a lot of fans sitting inside, catching this action with about 10 minutes gone in the second half. It's going to be a foul against the Mounties. Coming up to take this kick, it's going to be Selena Cavadini. She's going to take it just inside their half of the field. And 6 Huskies right up right now on the edge of the box. A long kick in. Doesn't quite make it to the box, but it's going to come all the way out to this near side to White. White's going to put in another deep ball. It's going to go over the defender. And there's McPherson. It goes off a defender's head, so McPherson does try and pick it up. She go around a defender, and it gets to Langeal. Langeal puts it in the box, and it's in! And it looks like it either went off the foot of Ventham or a defender, but we'll give it to Ventham for now as it goes right in. It wasn't pretty, but the Huskies are on the board. So Ventham, who's caused a lot of trouble in this game, that time a couple mistakes by the Mounties. It ends up in the back of their net, and it's just a one-goal game, and the Huskies pick up a goal, but now here come the Mounties. Right in the box, and what an opportunity, and what a save by Darnborough. That was Cassie Suchi gets it in, and then Rouse gets a shot off, and right into the basket of Darnborough. Darnborough able to hold on as two Mounties were on her. Suddenly, this game picking up in intensity and energy in just a one-goal game. So another free kick here for the Huskies. A couple players over it. Andrew Daly in the region. She scored one from here a few weeks back against Memorial, but also there Langeal and Millet. They're going to talk this one over as the referee moves the wall back. Bessemer in net. And about 5 Huskies on the edge of the box, and they'll try and make this count. Here comes Daly, but Daly's over it. It's going to go to Langeal. It's going to go short to Millet. Comes to Millet, and Millet tries to get a shot off, and it's going to go off a defender and out. So the Huskies trying a little bit of trickery there. And now Fernando Lucas in his technical area, getting up and getting excited. He's got his girls warming up behind, and suddenly the Huskies feel like they might have a shot in this one. Oh, and I flick on, and it goes off the head of a defender, and we'll get another corner. And Ventham's going to run over to the other side. Langeal attacking deep. Miller's there as well. In short is Michelle Paul, and Andrew Daly also attacking. McPherson, McIntyre on the scene. As the Huskies really pushing forward here, leaving just White back, and it's going to go short. Paul leaves it. It's going to be cleared, and chasing it now is Amanda Volko. So the Huskies will need to get back as the Mounties breaking with pace, and it's going to be a ball through to Rouse. And then Martin out wide, and White comes over to clear. So Volko pushes the attack, and the Mounties are just so quick as the Huskies committed forward on that corner. But they're able to get back and cover, and White, one of the lone defenders back, able to clear it out. So suddenly, the Huskies looking like a team threatening to score. These two teams combined just for 8 goals in their first 20 games, and now we've got 3 goals in the first hour. So more goals might be on the cards here as Ventham puts the defender under pressure. There's Millet. Millet puts it down the sideline for Ventham. And what a goal will do to a team's mental state as the Huskies, who look done and dusted at times in that first half, have really come back here in this first 50 minutes of the second half, and it's been a completely different half. And there's Daly, but Daly's pass to White, not the greatest, and White has to come over, and she's going to bowl over Jane Rouse. So the Mounties now with a very dangerous-looking free kick, and the Mounties are going to push forward. Up comes Henry. Into the box is Francis McCurdy. Over the ball, you've got a couple of players. It's Charlotte Martin, Amanda Volko, discussing what they're going to do. There's Martin, leaves it for Volko. Volko floats one in, and Daly easily clears it, and Ventham's going to pick it up, and now the Huskies pushing. Ventham keeps it, and she gets around another defender, and now Millett on the chase. And a little bit of miscommunication there as the two Mounties defenders were leaving it for each other. Millett was able to get in there, and then in desperation, the Mounties put it out behind, and Ventham now comes up for the corner, and suddenly you can actually hear some Huskies fans cheering because they've gotten behind their team, and despite the scoreboard saying 2-0, it is 2-1. The Huskies are on the board. And Ventham with the corner. It's going to go off the head of Langiel. Back to Ventham. Ventham gets another one in, but cleared out by the Mounties. Only as far as White, who's just going to kick it right back in. Oh, and it pops up and gives a lot of trouble to Bessemer. Some spin there, and combined with the slippery conditions, she just has to pop it out. Millett, number 11 for the Huskies, has been causing a world of trouble with her pace. And with half an hour to go in this game, it's suddenly game on. And goes short post and off the head of Daly and over. So Bessemer and the Mounties get away with one there. We're going to get a substitution. Going off for the Mounties is Jane Rouse. Rouse with a couple of chances. And we'll bring you the number of the player coming in. This goal kick's going to get all the way up to Suchi. On that far side, I believe into the game now is Emily Hunter. On that far side, and we'll find out shortly. And the Huskies keeping this under pressure as well. Right back in the hands of Bessemer. Ventham has been an absolute handful today. Is this goal kicked not as far as Bessemer would have liked, but the Mounties able to control. And the Huskies keeping the pressure on. Here's Daly. And then a long ball up, controlled by the Huskies. There's Langiel on the scene. She'll pass it out wide to Millett. Millett's going to try and go around the defender, but instead it's going to go out for a throw-in. So excitement building here in this second half. Remember, you can join in. Send us an email, huskiestv@gmail.com. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you're cheering for. As Alicia White has the throw-in to Millett. Millett turns nicely, but she's tackled by a Mountie. Comes back to the Huskies defense. And Millett and Entwistle kind of go shoulder to shoulder there. So Mounties throw it. On this near side, that is Claire Neufeld. Back to Neufeld. Neufeld back to the defense and then back to Neufeld. But Millett's there. And a bit of a collision there, but we're going to actually get a yellow card off the ball. And that's going to be a yellow card to Hannah Breeson. I didn't see what happened there on that short side, but it was off the ball, and Breeson is shown a yellow. So about 25 minutes left in this half, and the Huskies looking to tie this one up. There's Millett. McIntyre there for support. And there's White. White gets it back to McIntyre. McIntyre controls nicely. But then she's pushed off the ball, and another foul against the Mounties. So a dangerous-looking free kick here. I think Daly's going to end up taking this. Daly's standing over it. There's Langill. Daly might just go for this. She scored one from here before, earlier in the season. As we've got 6 Huskies inside the box. The ref's going to move the line back. So Millett's standing over the ball. So is Daly. So is Langill. Remember, a similar-looking free kick is what caused the goal in the first half. Here's Langill. She floats it in. I don't think she got all of it there, as it wasn't near a Husky. But coming up with the ball was Michelle Paul. Paul puts it back in off of McIntyre. And then it's whipped in across the face of goal, but Bessemer gets off our line and clutches that. So if you're just joining us or join us at halftime, a recap of the score. The Mounties scored a quick double in the first half, with Volkel scoring early and Entwistle scoring about a minute later to make it 2-0, and it remained scoreless until about 10 minutes into the second half, when Ventham stepped up and scored for the Huskies. And that's where it stands right now, 2-1 for the Mounties. A game with about just pride to play for. The Huskies 0-10 and the Mounties just 1-9, but they'll be hosting the AUS, so they'll be in the championships. Both teams young, and a lot of promise on both sides of the ball. Kevin Johnson, who looked calm and collected for much of this game, is up and pacing now. So obviously the 2-goal lead is gone, and he'd like to see his team pick up a win here and build some momentum heading into the playoffs. But another Huskies corner. They've caused a lot of trouble with these corners when Bentham has gone deep in about the 6-yard box. They've tried it short. They've tried some other plays and near post, but when they've gone deep and put it to about the 6-yard box, they've caused a lot of trouble for the Mounties, but they'll go short again. That time, Paul leaves it, gets to McIntyre. McIntyre whiffs on the ball, and now here come the Mounties, and a nice cross all the way over, and a trio of Mounties as this ball gets all the way up. That's Claire Neufeld. Neufeld with a head of steam. She's battling there with White. And it's going to go off of Neufeld and out. The Mounties just have so much pace when they're breaking. And that time, White once again getting back to break it up. But the Mounties will continue the pressure. That's Hunter on that far side. And while the Mounties just enjoyed so much pressure and control in that first half, it's been the Huskies for much of this second half. Still down 2-1. And this ball put all the way down by Ventham to McPherson. It's going to be cleared out and off of McPherson for a throw-in. And coming in for throw-in, there's Jillian Tetlow on that far side. And a bit of a miscommunication there as the goalie's off her line and a long shot by the Mounties. That was taken by Amanda Volko. It goes wide, but Darnborough was off her line. So were the defenders. And a wide open net for Volko. And you won't get many easier than that. But from about 35 yards out, she tries her luck and it goes wide. So the Huskies get lucky there as the Mounties look to attack again. And here's Neufeld with the throw-in. And as we talked about before, we have an interesting matchup here coming in the men's game. The Dalhousie Tigers in third, 5-3-2. They'll be taking on the Mount Allison Mounties, who are sitting in second from the bottom with a 1-8-2 record. Tigers coming in after winning 2. Sorry, against the Huskies. The Huskies who are sitting second, who are also hosting the AUS. Some back and forth on that far side, and then coming across, that's Langeal. She just boots it out. Bit of a battle here in the midfield. Huskies trying to get the ball forward for Bentham, but it's going to get cleared out, and White's going to come over for the throw-in. But 15 minutes left in this second half of AUS Women's Soccer. The Huskies trailing 2-1. And Langeal dances away from one defender. It ends up to Millett. But Neufeld right there with some great defending. But now it's going to be headed in for Millett. Millett and Neufeld there. Millett, I think, lost her headband there. Oh, no. Yeah. And so she's trying to get that back on, trying to fix her shoe as well. Millett looks like she's just taking a beating in this game. Very, very physical game as the Huskies get this throw in from White to McIntyre. And there's McIntyre. She turns off a defender. She's going to try and put a ball in. She does. She gets bowled over in the process, but it's going to be a Huskies corner. 7 or 8 corners for the Huskies in this game. It's caused a lot of problems for the Mounties. Michelle Paul is short. Shorter, I guess, near post. And this one's going to go deep and in that 6-yard box. And getting ahead on that was Langeal, but it's going to go out and harmless. And the referee already making sure that there's no time wasting as he goes over to a player there that was down and takes a little bit of a look at his watch, letting them know that, 15 minutes to go, but I want you to play these 15 minutes. As the Mounties try and relieve the pressure. And the Huskies continue to pass it around their defense. Gets to Daly. She'll just spread it wide, but that pass a little too wide, but kept in nicely by McPherson, who got back for that. That pass didn't get through to Ventham. Ventham's pass picked off. And here come the Mounties. The Mounties spread the ball really nicely, and this one's going to go into the corner. Madison Turple on hand to just clear that out. Here come the Huskies. That's McIntyre. Gets a shot off. It's going to pop in front. And Ventham was right there, but it just went a little bit behind her, and she wasn't able to get to it. But she had the net at her wide open in front of her, but that ball just takes a deflection a little bit away from her. The keeper was committed, and a nice play by McIntyre to get that shot off. And the Huskies really breathing some life into this fixture. There's Daly. Daly pushing it to Langiel. Langiel can't control. But an errant pass is going to see it onto the foot of Millett, and then Millett just runs over Charlotte Martin. Shoulder to shoulder, and Martin's going to take a few seconds to get up. But those big collisions on a day like today feel just that much worse. End up on the wet, cold ground. And Ventham gets across again to force an errant pass from the Mounties. Mounties clear it, but not far enough. And Bessemer is just going to throw it out to on this near side. Hannah Breeson was the player coming through. And now here come the Mounties. Over to Langiel. Langiel's spotted McPherson on that far side, but in this weather, that ball just skips away off the wet turf. Both teams playing a lot better in this final 10 minutes. Just over 10 to go. That ball's whipped in, but headed away by Claire Neufeld. And Langiel once again is going to put this in. But it's going to go wide, and a wasted opportunity. Neufeld with a couple of great interceptions for the Mounties at the back has really been a rock today. As well as Hannah Breeson. The two of them back there for the Mounties have really been the difference. A long kick by Daly. She saw the keeper off her line and figured she'd have a go. But Bessemer able to get to that one. McIntyre does well to pick up that goal kick. It ends up getting spread over to Breeson. Breeson has been all over the pitch in this game. Thrown here by Neufeld. And that's going to go out for a Mounties throw-in. Neufeld will take this as well. And here come the Huskies. It's going to go out wide. McPherson lays it in for McIntyre, but it ends up on the foot of a Mountie. And then after going off a defender, it's going to be a Huskies throw-in. So we're into our final 6.5 minutes or so. Plus stoppage time. We didn't have any stoppage time in the first half, so with even less stoppage in the second half, I don't expect to see much extra time on the clock. The Mounties trying to hold on to this 2-1 lead, while the Huskies have been eager to try and tie this one up. There's Daly for the Huskies. It's going to be a long ball through to Miller, and Miller collides there with Breeson. A little bit too much of a hand on the defender there, so the referee's going to award that to the Mounties. That clearance just kicked right back by the Huskies. Ends up on the foot of Millet. Back to Neufeld. Neufeld under pressure gives that away. And then Daly goes down as coming across her was Charlotte Martin. So a long free kick here for Madison Turnbull. Turnbull looking at the box. I expect this is the only place it's going to go. A long kick in right into the box. Couple of Huskies there, and Langill adjudged to foul a defender there, and the Mountie who ended up on the ground was Jillian Tetlow. Langill collides with her, and it's going to be a Mounties free kick. We're into the final 5 here. Turnbull tries to play that down the line, but it's going to roll and eventually go out. A throw in from Neufeld. Neufeld's going to try and throw this as far as she can. It's going to be controlled by White. White puts it back in. Ends up on the foot of Daly, and then it's going to go off of Neufeld and out, and now a throw in by White. White throws it to McIntyre. McIntyre forced off the ball, but then the clearance goes right out. So the Huskies trying to get a foothold here in the final 5 minutes. The Mounties bending but not breaking. That was McIntyre who is pushed off the ball, and now here's White battling. And now a Mounties break. And on this near side, that's Breeson. Breeson puts it into the middle, but no luck. And the ball actually ends up coming all the way out to McIntyre, whose pass is taken away by the Mounties. Here's Breeson. And then Martin is going to put it out off her own player, and a Huskies throw it. And the battle on this near side between Breeson and Millet continues. Neufeld throws it to the corner, a long throw. Volko unable to keep it in, so a Huskies throw in. White will take this. Coach Kevin Johnson just yelling, get into the corner to his team. He really wants this win. And that throw in went off of Daly. It'll be a throw in for the Mounties. The Mounties taking their time. Neufeld here taking her time bringing this one in. She'll throw this deeper in the corner once again. And it's going to go off a Mountie now. White here will throw it in again. The Mounties just happy to keep this down here in the corner. They'll keep considering the throw-ins as long as they can. And Neufeld off to grab the ball again. As we see the men's teams warming up behind the Mounties goal. A throw in from Neufeld. Neufeld's going to throw it deep and into the box. Off a Husky. Now the Huskies will look to counter. There's Ventham. Ventham doesn't control that well. And it's just going to be cleared out there by Visser. Visser, another part of that defense tonight that's really stood tall. Now the Huskies on the other side really trying to push down, but they've just been restricted to throw-ins. Nothing too exciting. A long throw in here for the Huskies. We're into the last minute here. Daly gets a foot to it. It's around in the 6-yard box. There's Langill. Oh, and a miscommunication there. Oh, and Millet turns and she fires. And there you go with a minute left in the game. The Huskies have tied the game. Millet was fortunate there as that ball bounced around in the 6-yard box. Mounties unable to clear, goes off of McPherson, and then onto the foot of Millet. And ladies and gentlemen, the Huskies have tied this one up. And now the Huskies with almost into extra time looking to try and take the win. We've seen Huskies teams of old do this, but can Fernando Lucas's team pull something off here in the final minute? Here come the Mounties. It's going to be offside. And some more pressure there, but Ventham unable to get to it. We're into extra time. There won't be much, as there hasn't been much of a delay in this second half. Referee hasn't really looked down at his watch yet, but I'd expect him to bring this to a close pretty quickly, as this is going to get as far as Millet. Millet controls. She turns around one defender. And then the Mounties turning again. And the Huskies try and mount one last attack. There's McIntyre. And it's going to go off for a goal kick. There has to be just seconds left here as the Mounties look to attack. Here's Breeson on this near side, and it's going to go up, but Huskies happy to clear it out. They've clawed and fought for this point here today. And here's Neufeld. Neufeld, who's been throwing those long throw-ins all game long. She'll try and do it again. Huskies heading it out. Excruciatingly long here in the extra time. Throw-in comes in. Another header. Mounties try and get into the box, but it's going to come all the way out. And here's McPherson. McPherson tries to find Bentham. Bentham, here she comes. She's going to go all the way back to Bessemer. Daly can't control. There's White. White boots it forward. A lot of action here in the final moments, and there's the final whistle. Coming from behind, down 2-0, the Huskies have snatched a point here. That's their first point of the season, and they will tie this 2-2. Millett, the man of the moment there, she ties this game up. 2-2, your final score here from Husky Stadium. And we will be back with all the action in the men's game as the second-place Huskies take on the second-last Mounties in men's action. For Drew, I'm Henry Whitfield. We'll be back on Huskies TV for men's AUS Soccer.